you there?
Hey, I sure am. Wayne Federman, how are you, sir?
I'm very well, thank you.
Hey, we are a country music station. I understand that Clint Black owes you a lot these days.
Yes, he does.
Is he a good comedian in your estimation? I mean, you're the one who groomed him, right?
I groomed him. Actually, it's yes. He came out. He was doing a short-lived show, and I can't remember the name of it, but it was something like "Show Us Your Talent." It was about famous people doing another talent, and I helped him become a stand-up comedian. And he won the round, and then the show got canceled. Ended up being on The Celebrity Apprentice. Is that right?
Yeah, that is correct. Yeah, and he's done a couple of different movies.
That guy is hilarious. I met him when he was doing the Larry Sanders Show. He was on a number of times, and he had just a cool, dry way about him. Really fun.
You were a top writer for Jimmy Fallon. Are you still involved with him and what he's doing?
Actually, I was writing for Late Night with Jimmy Fallon. And I used to, believe it or not, tour with Jimmy Fallon. He was my opening act for a little bit while he was putting together new stuff. And then I became his opening act when he got, enough time. And I'm actually going to be on The Tonight Show on the 4th of November, which is in a couple weeks.
Now, you became the head writer for Jimmy Fallon. How do you get to that position? Is it a tough road to haul, or do you just have to know the right people?
Well, knowing Jimmy Fallon was the right people to know. No, actually, I was just a head monologue writer, I was just a head of that part of the show, which is the first 6 minutes where we just do the jokes about the day. So I don't want to put it out there that I was the head writer, but yeah, he knew me for years. We've toured, we knew each other. I know how to make him laugh, and hopefully wrote some stuff that he enjoyed. But that's a tough job, believe it or not.
Stand-up comedy, is that something that you've always wanted to do, or is it just kind of something that fell in your lap?
No, it's so funny. You're in Savannah. I grew up in Silver Spring, Maryland, and then moved to Florida when I was 10 years old. And in 1969, actually stopped in Savannah on our drive down. And I don't know, I just was always a funny kid. And it wasn't so much my family, but my teachers really, really tried to encourage me to do stand-up. So I started doing ventriloquism in high school, and then went to NYU Drama School, and then went from there.
There's a lot of commercials on television that have become kind of epic and have become like a cult following. I think a lot of these Geico commercials, you see that quite a bit. You're in a few of them, and I think people didn't even realize that. I'm
just in 2 of them, not a few, but I am in the famous Kenny Rogers one, where I have the tagline where I say, "Yeah, we get the gist. We get the gist," where he's singing "The Gambler," and then the other one is I'm just the voice in one of those camels, not the one that goes through the office, but the one in the zoo. But that's it. Not in several of them.
Do you still have your electric ukulele? Do you still play that? Is that a big part of your act?
No, I mean, yes, I still have it. I'm ready to bring it out again, but I kind of switched over to piano about 15 years ago. So I have this new comedy album out, and in it you can hear the transition as I go from ukulele, straight stand-up, into piano. But I'd play the uke again. I love doing it.
Chronicles of Federman. Tell me a little bit about this. What can people expect?
Well, it's a different kind of comedy album. I mean, it's not different in that it's still funny, hopefully, but it's sort of a retrospective of my career. My first joke, believe it or not, is from 1984 and it's about the 84 Olympics, and the last jokes are from 2015. So it's like vintage material all the way up to now. So that's it.
You had a chance to meet Bob Hope at one point in time. What was that like?
Wow, you really did some research.
I love it, man. I'm a big fan, so yes.
This is phenomenal. You should see the grin on my face. That was very, very early on. Remember, I said I went to I don't know if I said this, but I went to NYU Drama School, and then at that time there was a morning show, and Bob Hope was the guest, so they wanted young comedians. And somebody from NYU was like, I was starting to dabble at NYU, and they said, go on down. And then they're like, all right, Bob wants to just talk to the young comedians. Also in the crowd that day, asking Bob Hope a question, besides Wayne, which is what you saw, Jerry Seinfeld.
Wow. It's a small world, isn't it?
I know. That was the first time I had ever seen Jerry Seinfeld. This was like in 78 or something. I've filled out since then.
Yeah. Didn't Bob Hope slam you for how you were dressed, too?
Yes. Bob Hope insulted me. It was the greatest moment of my life. I mean, seriously, the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. It's so funny because just a month ago, I also write sometimes for award shows. Mm-hmm. I wrote a bit with Mel Brooks that he did at an award show. And just hanging out with him was otherworldly for someone of my generation. Like I couldn't even believe it. I couldn't believe he knew my name and wanted to have his picture taken with me. It was crazy.
And that was an era of comedy that I think people just miss a lot. Those guys and that kind of feel that you had with comedy.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like comedy's pretty good right now. I feel like there's a lot. Like I like what Amy's doing. I like what Louie's doing. There's a guy called Bill Burr. Obviously, Bill Engvall and Foxworthy. All of those guys. They're really funny guys. Yeah,
absolutely. Chronicles of Federman. People got to pick it up. Where do people need to go to check it out here, Wayne?
Well, there's two types of ways. I don't know. Some people like to go directly into their computer or their phone, and where you would go to iTunes and just look Wayne Federman or Chronicles of Federman. If you want to buy the CD, Amazon. They'll send it right to you, and it's 3 discs. It's a lot of Wayne. Believe me, everyone's very excited about this except my family. They're not like we know. We've enough already.
Wayne Federman, Chronicles of Federman. Pick it up today. Wayne, it's been a pleasure talking to you, my friend, and best of luck.
Let's do it again sometime.
Sounds good.